This is Annie Grace, and you're listening to This Naked Mind podcast, where without judgment, pain, or rules, we explore the role of alcohol in our lives and culture. Hey, this is Annie Grace, and welcome to This Naked Mind podcast. So I wanted to do something really special for this kind of last podcast of the year. Basically, one of the most powerful parts of this podcast is people's stories. And so we go in these in-depth interviews with amazing people. They share their story with me about kind of how they found freedom and peace in their relationship with alcohol. And I thought, wouldn't it be cool if we could just power pack an episode with lots of stories for like lots of momentum and people could get encouragement. I know that it's specifically hard, kind of holidays ending and family coming and going and feeling a letdown. Everything around the season can be kind of a struggle. Not to mention you might need some motivation because you might be considering dry January. I'm going to do an episode on dry January next week, which will be really good, specific tips and tricks for dry January. But I wanted to do something very cool. And so what I did, and I thought this was a great idea, was I got a voicemail where people could call and leave their story just on a few-minute recording. And so I'm going to share with you a few of them today. I think we have 5 queued up for today. And before we get into those stories and I hand it over to all these amazing people that called in to share their story and what they're going through, which is going to make this just such a cool podcast, I want to give you the phone number because if you want to call, please do. We'd love to just continue this. There was such good response. People were so enthusiastic. And if you love this episode and you want to share your story, you can do it under, a pseudonym if you'd like. Just share something that's real and raw and true to you that could really help others, because the truth is we just need to know that we're not alone, and we're not alone. I think it's so amazing to me how many of us are questioning our relationship with alcohol. Why? Because alcohol doesn't make us feel as great as we once thought it did. And so here's some stories from people who have been questioning, have been perhaps where you are, or perhaps have something in common with you, and just listen to their stories. They're so powerful. And thank you so much for being here. And that number, and we'll put it in the show notes as well, it's 605-937-8849. So call that number, leave me a voicemail, and we can share them on the podcast, which would be really, really exciting. So here's the stories. I hope you have a wonderful new year. And again, this is Annie Grace.
Hello, my name is Terry, and after struggling with alcohol dependence for a number of years, I found This Naked Mind in January 2016, and I'm now happily heading into my second sober holiday season. And I'm not going to lie, last year I went into holidays with some trepidation, but it ended up to be totally fine. And now this year, I've already gone to a number of events this month. And just this morning, I was thinking about how much more enjoyable everything has been. All of these festivities are for me now that I don't drink alcohol anymore. And this is true for a whole bunch of reasons. And some are that I never, ever have to worry anymore about how I'm going to get home because I can drive myself. I don't feel any guilt about eating all the holiday treats because I'm not saving all of those calories for the endless glasses of wine that I used to save all my calories for. I remember what's happened at events, and I don't have to worry that I've embarrassed myself or even worse, my husband by saying or doing something stupid while drinking too much at anybody's function. And I have a lot more money to spend on gifts because I'm not buying a bunch of booze all the time. And I wake up every day refreshed and energized, and I'm not hungover, and I'm not full of regrets. So in short, life for me is truly better every day that I'm free of alcohol, and I only wish that for everybody else. So again, thank you, Annie. You've done so much for me and for my life, and happy holidays. Thank you.
Oh, hey, Annie. I just want to say, first of all, I love you. I love your book. I love the whole AF culture. I love your messaging. I just think the AF culture really helped me realize that what alcohol was and what it was doing to me. So you really simplified the whole process for me. I guess I started drinking in my early 40s. I was listening to CNN one day. I never drank before, actually, but I was 42 and I was going through perimenopause and trying to get my health. Well, I was healthy all along, but I thought, like, I've always been a health nut. It said red wine was really therapeutic and really good for you, like one glass of wine a day. And I was like in the kitchen cooking, and I'm like, oh, that sounds like a good idea. Yeah, I've heard about that. So I did start drinking one glass of red wine a day, and then it turned to 2 and 3, and then it turned to me hiding in my closet and switching over to vodka, because vodka was a lot less calories than wine. I was getting heavier every day, actually. I was gaining a lot of weight. And I wasn't even eating that much. I was exercising, but the wine really packed on the weight. So then I thought, well, maybe vodka would help. So I ended up starting to drink a couple of 26ers a week of vodka in my closet and some wine on the weekends. And after 6 years of doing this, I decided that it was enough, and I tried several times to quit on my own, and it didn't work. And then I don't know what happened. It was on my Facebook page one day, and I saw your book, and I decided to buy it, and I started reading 3 pages a day, letting everything soak in. I joined this Naked Mind community, and then, I don't know, I didn't even get 3 chapters in, and I was just done. I was terrified of alcohol after that. I realized that it was all a lie. I realized the propaganda around it. I realized the marketing around it, that it had become a huge part of our culture, like cigarettes were in the early, 1900s, mid-1900s, and it was destroying millions and millions of lives, and how underplayed it was in the media. So I just decided that I was going to be AF, and I decided that I was going to stand strong and help others now. I'm on this Naked Mind community, and I go on there every day, and I comment and help other people. So I just wanted to say that I get it, the whole premise of your book. I understand it, and it's just really transformed my thinking, I guess, about alcohol and the role it plays in society, the negative role. And I just want to thank you from the bottom of my heart.
Hi. I read Annie Grace's book on August 25th. The only reason I remember is I was home with bronchitis, and I've been wanting to read that book longer than I can say, but I didn't know it. And it hit all the right notes in defining what is problematic and really our culture's predominant theme that encourages drinking. And that's exactly what I needed to hear. It was enough. I haven't had a drink since then, and I haven't had a struggle. Indeed, I really just feel very strong and content, having resolved something that had been unsettling in my mind for many, many years. I had breast cancer, and obviously the alcohol complicates or raises the likelihood of a recurrence, and that was always a struggle for me. And I have Alzheimer's running through my family, and that's just one more reason why I wanted all my brain cells firing that I can. So I'm very grateful for such a wonderful book, and I greatly encourage everyone to read it and reflect and basically declare your independence. That's how I think of it. I'm not against people drinking, but I don't want to be drinking just because it's there. There's so many cues to keep you drinking. Thank you, Annie.
Hey, Annie Grace. This is Tanya from Maine. And first and foremost, I just really want to thank you for writing your book and creating this podcast, as it has definitely changed my life. And I now know that it has changed the lives of thousands of others. And for me to know that I wasn't the only one out there who had these thoughts and these actions about drinking was so enlightening to me. And thank you again from the bottom of my heart. So my life is much better without drinking, simply because I have clarity now. And I'm not talking about clarity when I wake up in the morning without a hangover or without disrupted sleep. I'm just talking about life clarity. See, I lost my mind, body, and soul connection years ago when I started drinking by just numbing all these thoughts and feelings. And it's come back to me now. The clarity in my mind of my thoughts, my creativity has come back to me. And the clarity is just amazing. My body, I now know that my physical body, my physical wellness is of major importance of, my mind, body, soul connection as well. And I know that I need to nourish my body to feel good in all aspects of my life. And my soul connection, I am once again listening to my intuition, and my spiritual practice is strengthening my meditation, my prayer, my yoga. And walking the spiritual journey is fun, and it's enlightening for me because I'm not numbing all these thoughts and emotions and feelings with alcohol. And I know I have a purpose here, and I am pursuing this purpose with clarity.
Hi, my name is Nancy. I first saw Annie Grace's message on a very targeted Facebook ad on a Saturday morning. It said, "Would you feel better if you drank less?" A little hungover, yeah, but then inside immediately felt fear that I'd never have fun again if I didn't drink. Annie was having a 2-hour webinar that day, so on my afternoon bike ride, I listened in. I identified with a lot of Annie's story. While I wasn't usually the one who drank the most, I knew the level of my consumption was too much for me. Being hungover, less productive, wasting free time being buzzed, and breaking rules I set for myself. Oh, I won't drink Monday, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays. Well, then Monday night, maybe 2 glasses tonight. Well, that always turned into 3. Then Tuesday night was music on the plaza. Bring your food and wine. And then there's a leftover bottle of wine for Wednesday. Okay, maybe next week. I live in wine country in Northern California, and I'm a marketing director for a well-known wine company. Yes, propagating the message that every day is an occasion, and it's not complete without a glass of wine. Everything in my life revolves around drinking wine. At my office, there's a wine dispenser like a soda machine. Go pick from many wines anytime. Whether it's a work-related event, 10 bottles of wine at a table with 8 people, to a 9 a.m. meeting with bubbles to toast some event, to my free time with my friends, golfing, kayaking, bike riding, hiking, all with a glass of wine either during or after the event. After I listened to the webinar, I bought the audiobook. After listening to the fact-based approach to dealing with all my objections, the hardest 2 weeks was from when I knew the truth and I knew I needed to try to become alcohol-free from the decision to start. Like Annie, I was a highly productive professional, and people are surprised to learn of my lifestyle change. 4 months in, feeling productive and clear-headed, I'd resigned from the wine job and moving to teach yoga full-time, something I had planned to do in the future, but realized I can do it now. Thank you, Annie, for helping me along this path to achieve my dream.
Hi, Annie. My name is Jessica. First of all, I just want to thank you so much for your book because it has completely changed my life in a matter of days, and it was something that was really unexpected, and it just feels like this incredible blessing for me. So about 2 years ago, my husband and I and one of our very best friends who we drink with a lot had started just kind of having conversations with each other about just questioning how frequently and how much we were drinking, but we would just use those same old arguments of like, well, we can stop if we want or all those things, and we just kept like not really stopping. But we would make commitments to each other like, okay, well, we're not going to drink for the next week, and then we'll stop drinking for 2 weeks, but then we'll not drink again until this certain party or something. But then we'd always end up sitting on the couch at our house and then drinking together on like a random weeknight, even though we said we weren't going to. So it was our friend actually who found your book first, and he was kind of reading it for a couple weeks and thinking about it. And he had stopped drinking for like a week, and then he came over to our house and had I gotten him like the beer that he normally drinks, and he had decided he was going to drink that night, but more as just kind of to see how it felt because he was already kind of not wanting to drink anymore. And so he and I started chatting, and he told me about your book and some of the stuff in it, and then my husband came in and we were telling him about it. And so my husband and I were super pumped about, like, just right away. We're like, tell us all about it. We want to read it. So we downloaded it to listen to it on audiobooks and started listening. And like after the first chapter, my husband and I were both just done. And we've listened to the whole book, of course, and it was awesome because this was just last week. Each day we would listen to it, while we were apart, and then we'd come home and we'd talk about the chapter or 2 or 3 that we read that day. And we just talk for an hour or 2 each night about like all these amazing like connections that you made us see of just like seeing alcohol for what it really is and not this thing that we thought it was, which is something we needed to have fun. And that was where I was for so long. So you really helped me find my true self again. Sorry about the background noise. I'm in my classroom. That's the intercom. But you've helped me find my true self again, that I had just forgotten, that person inside who could just laugh and have fun and be happy when it was time to play, just play and not need something else to help me be able to just be free and relax. And it just feels amazing. And I already had a family dinner. That would be a normal thing I would have drank at, and most of the rest of my family's drinking, but my husband and our other friends that showed us the book were just having a ball and not drinking, and it's just such an amazing feeling. I feel so free from that, having to decide every night if I was going to do the thing that I knew was right. I meant to be brief and I was way too long, but I was just going to finish up by saying thank you for helping me find my old self again. And I thought at first it'd be scary to do this right before the holidays, but now I'm realizing that this is going to be like one of the most memorable holiday seasons in my adult life because there's so much joy in it. And seeing my 5-year-old son open his presents and love the holidays and not have any of that be blurry is just going to be amazing. And I'm just about to go out for like a happy hour with my amazing coworkers. We're all teachers, so we just got done with our last day of school for 2017, and I'm just so excited to just be with all of them and just not have anything holding me back from having fun, because I don't have to wait until I've had a drink or 2 before I feel like it's appropriate to relax. I'm already relaxed, and I can't wait to just hang out and have an amazing time. So your book really changed my life and my husband's life, and I know this will be something that we will look back on, finding your book, reading your book, as one of the most important things that has happened in our life, that has helped us be the parents and the couple that we want to be. So again, thank you so much. You're amazing, and I just really appreciate everything you've done, and I just want to shout it from the rooftops and tell the world to read this book and find a life of freedom that's going to be healthier and more full and more amazing than they could have possibly imagined. So again, thank you.
This has been Annie Grace with This Naked Mind podcast. Thank you so much for listening. You can learn more at thisnakedmind.com. And please remember to rate, review, and subscribe, as it really helps us spread the word.